Welcome to our channel. Let's dissect the books that can change our outlook on life, change our mindset, change our character rights, so that we can do better later.
Long before philosophy became a discipline, before Socrates walked the streets of Athens or Confucius pondered human virtue, in the sacred lands of ancient India, thought was not written, it was heard. In those early days there were no books, no scriptures, only shruti, which means that which is heard. These weren't ordinary words, but cosmic vibrations, sounds believed to be revealed, not invented. Out of this sacred listening came the Vedas, a collection of hymns, chants, and rituals passed down orally across countless generations. These texts were not read, they were lived. They were sung into the fire, whispered to the rivers, and remembered in the hearts of those who served the eternal rhythm of the cosmos. But then something began to stir in the human soul. A new kind of question emerged, one that rituals could not fully answer. What is the purpose of all this? Why do we suffer? What happens after death? Is there something within me that doesn't change, that is untouched by time? And from this sacred restlessness, a new layer of the Vedic tradition was born, more quiet, more introspective, more daring. They called it the Upanishads. These weren't new scriptures to replace the Vedas. No, they were the very heart of the Vedas. Upanishad literally means to sit down near. It evokes the image of a student sitting close to a teacher, not in a crowded hall or noisy forum, but in the hush of the forest, under a vast sky, by the roots of an ancient tree, not to be taught, but to awaken. Because in the Upanishads, knowledge is not given, it is discovered. It is not proclaimed, it is revealed in stillness. In these teachings, the question isn't, what do the gods want from me? Instead, the question becomes, who am I? Not my name, not my body, not my mind, but the essence of who I am. Is there something within me that is eternal? And if so, could it be one with the essence of the universe itself? Here we encounter two of the most profound ideas in human history: Atman, the innermost self; Brahman, the infinite, eternal reality that underlies all things. And the most radical statement whispered from guru to student is this: Atman is Brahman. The self is not separate from the world. It is the world, not a part of God, but the very divine itself. This is not dogma. This is not belief. This is realization. And it was not meant to be worshipped. It was meant to be experienced. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. The sages of the Upanishads weren't seeking heaven. They were seeking truth, not in the stars, not in temples, but in silence, in meditation, in solitude. They believed that the ultimate reality could not be described in words. And so the Upanishads are full of paradoxes, metaphors, and silence. The self is smaller than a grain of rice, yet greater than the mountains, says one. You are that, says another. And through these lines, a new kind of spirituality was born, not based on fear, not based on reward, but on awakening. This ancient tradition would later shape Hinduism, influence Buddhism, and inspire some of the greatest minds of the West, from Schopenhauer to Aldous Huxley. But more than anything, it offers each of us, today, a mirror. In question, a journey inward, an invitation to sit beneath the tree once more, to listen not to the world outside, but to the soundless wisdom within. What is the self? In the Upanishads, this question is not asked casually. It is not a curiosity, it is a calling. A call to look past the masks we wear, the roles we play, the names we answer to. A call to look into the mirror and ask, who is looking back? That answer, according to the sages, is Atman, the deepest essence of who you are, not your thoughts, not your emotions, not even your soul in the conventional sense. Atman is the unchanging witness behind all change. It is consciousness itself, pure, still, eternal. It watches you grow. It watches you fall. It watches your joy, your grief, your birth, your death. But it is untouched, and yet it is not isolated. It is not alone. The Upanishads speak of Brahman, the source and substance of all things. Not a god in the sky, not a being apart from creation, but the very ground of being itself. Brahman is not in the universe. Brahman is the universe. The air, the stars, the breath in your lungs, the thought behind your eyes. And here lies the thunderous realization at the heart of the Upanishads. Atman is Brahman. The innermost self is not separate from the infinite. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. The implications are staggering. If Atman is Brahman, then separation is illusion. Then the boundaries between you and me, between self and world, between subject and object, all dissolve like morning mist. You are not alone, because there is no other. There is only one. The sages didn't claim to understand this as an intellectual theory. They realized it. They saw it with the inner eye, directly, unmistakably, unforgettably, and so they spoke in riddles, in paradoxes, in poetry. As rivers flow into the sea and lose their names, so too do all beings return to Brahman. He who sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings, never turns away. Neti, not this, is how they pointed to Brahman, because no word, no concept, no image can contain it. It is not this, not that. It is beyond, and yet it is, right here in your breath, in your awareness, in this very moment. To know this truth is not merely to believe it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It is to wake up, like someone roused from a long sleep, to see the world not as fragmented and foreign, but as utterly and intimately one. The Upanishads whisper, again and again, Tattvam Asi, you are that. And once you know this, truly know this. Not just with your mind, but with your being, fear begins to fall away. Because what is there to fear when there is nothing outside of you? No death, no end, only transformation. In the quiet verses of the Upanishads, death is not the end. It is a doorway, a passage, a transition, not into nothingness, but into a mystery far deeper than life itself. The ancient sages did not fear death. They studied it, meditated on it, and in doing so they discovered something profound. They saw that what dies is the body, what fades is the name, the form, the memory. But the self, Atman, does not die. It was never born. It cannot decay. It cannot be destroyed. The self is not slain when the body is slain, says the Katha Upanishad. As a person casts off worn-out garments and puts on new ones, so does the self cast off a worn-out body and enter a new one. Here the idea of rebirth takes shape. Not as punishment or reward, but as continuation, a soul journeying through lifetimes, shaped by karma, the law of cause and effect, not controlled by some external judge, but by the natural unfolding of one's actions. What we think, what we say, what we do, it all leaves a trace, and that trace forms the seeds of the future. But even this cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is not the final truth. The samsara, the wheel of becoming,